The food was still steaming. That was the first thing I noticed. Not the empty tents, not the backpacks, not the sleeping bags. The food, a metal pot, sat over a campfire, gently bubbling as smoke drifted in the cold night air. Someone had been here. Not yesterday, not an hour ago, minutes ago. And yet, there wasn't a single person in sight. I stood frozen beside the fire. My flashlight trembled in my hand. Across from me, Ethan stared into the darkness surrounding the campsite. His face had gone pale, paler than I'd ever seen it. "We need to leave," he whispered. I looked around. Why? Instead of answering, he pointed toward the trees. At first, I saw nothing. Just shadows. Fog. Darkness. Then one of the shadows moved. My stomach dropped. Someone was standing among the trees, watching us. Then another, and another. Soon I realized there weren't one or two figures. There were dozens. Perfectly still, perfectly silent, watching. Every instinct screamed at me to run. But I couldn't, because something else caught my attention. One of the tents was open. Inside sat a child's stuffed bear. A small brown teddy bear. My chest tightened. Families camped here. Children camped here. Where were they? Ethan. He didn't respond. His eyes remained fixed on the forest. Then he whispered, "They're waiting." A chill crawled up my spine. Who? The question barely left my mouth before the campfire suddenly crackled. The flames exploded upward. At the exact same moment, every figure in the trees vanished, gone, like they had never been there. I spun around wildly. Nothing. The woods were empty again. My heartbeat thundered in my ears. "We're leaving," Ethan said firmly. This time I agreed. Neither of us wanted to stay another second. We grabbed what supplies we could carry and moved quickly away from the campsite. But after only a few steps, I heard something. A child's voice. Soft. Almost too soft to hear. I froze. The voice came from behind us, near the tents. Ethan grabbed my arm. "Don't." But I was already turning around, because that voice sounded terrified. Lost. Human. The campsite remained empty. Then the voice came again. "Mom?" This time it sounded closer, like it was standing right beside the fire, yet nobody was there. I felt tears sting my eyes, because whatever was making that sound, it knew exactly how to pull at human emotions, and it was working. Then another voice joined it. A woman. Carter. Panic. Desperation. Fear. The voices echoed through the trees, searching for each other, calling into the darkness. And suddenly I realized what we were hearing. The last moments. The final moments of the people who had camped here. My stomach twisted. No. The voices continued, growing louder, closer. Then dozens joined them. Men, women, children, all calling names, all searching, all afraid. The forest filled with desperate voices. And then silence. Instant silence. The kind of silence that hurts your ears. I nearly collapsed from relief until I noticed Ethan. He wasn't looking at me, he wasn't looking at the forest, he was staring directly behind me. His face was filled with absolute terror you feel moments before death. Slowly, very slowly, I turned around. The teddy bear was standing in the middle of the trail. The same bear from the tent, 20 yards away from where we'd left it. Neither of us moved. Neither of us breathed. Because there was only one way that bear could have gotten there. Something carried it. And whatever carried it was still nearby. Then the bear fell over. As if someone invisible had released it. The forest erupted with laughter. Children laughing. Dozens of children, coming from every direction. The sound was wrong, too slow, too distorted. Like something was trying to imitate happiness without understanding what happiness actually sounds like. Ethan grabbed my arm, and this time we ran. We ran harder than ever before. Branches slashed our faces, roots nearly tripped us. But fear pushed us forward. Then suddenly, the trees opened. A clearing appeared, and standing in the center was a cabin. Old, weathered, broken. A cabin that definitely wasn't there before. I knew because we'd passed through this area earlier. The clearing had been empty. Now a cabin stood there, waiting. "No," Ethan whispered. His voice shook, as though he recognized it, as though he'd seen it before. "What is that?" He swallowed hard. then quietly said, "They live there." My blood ran cold. "Who?" For several seconds he said nothing. Then, "The ones that wear faces." Every hair on my body stood up. The cabin door slowly creaked open. Nobody touched it. Nobody stood nearby. It simply opened, inviting us inside. A warm yellow light glowed from within. A voice drifted out, a familiar voice, my mother's voice. "Ryan?" I froze. The fear hit me instantly, because my mother lived hundreds of miles away, yet somehow her voice came from inside that cabin. "Ryan, come inside." Tears filled my eyes. The voice sounded perfect, exactly like her, exactly. Ethan stepped in front of me. "Don't listen." Then another voice called, his mother's voice, then another. His father's voice, then Sarah's voice, Jake's voice. The cabin filled with familiar voices. People we loved, people we missed, people we trusted, calling us home. Calling us inside. The temptation was overwhelming. For a brief second, I wanted to open the door. I wanted answers. I wanted to know what happened to Ethan. I wanted to know what lived beyond Marker 12. Then I noticed something. The light inside the cabin wasn't yellow. It only looked yellow from a distance. When I focused, the light was actually white, pale white, like moonlight. And moving inside it were silhouettes, hundreds of them, standing shoulder to shoulder, waiting, watching, smiling. The realization nearly stopped my heart. The cabin wasn't empty, it was full. And whatever lived inside knew we were there. The voices stopped simultaneously. The door opened wider, and from inside the darkness, something stepped forward. Tall, thin, its body twisted unnaturally. Its face shifted constantly. 1 second my mother, the next Ethan, the next Sarah, the next me. My legs almost gave out. The creature smiled, a smile stretching far beyond human limits. Then it spoke, using my own voice. "We've been waiting." The ground beneath us trembled. The forest suddenly came alive. Movement exploded between the trees. Hundreds of pale figures emerging from the darkness, surrounding us, closing in. And for the first time, I finally understood something horrifying. The abandoned campsite wasn't abandoned. The campers never left. They were still here. Somewhere. And whatever lived beyond Marker 12 had been collecting people for a very long time. The creature took another step toward us, then smiled wider and whispered, "You're finally home."